Possibly less clothes on.
All right.
And was like, if you
Yo.
We're
What the
live.
fuck is back?
Schemology podcast.
Schemology's back, baby. Let's
I'm
get into
Jared,
it. And I'm Jack.
and this is James.
what's up? No, don't tell him that.
Okay, all right. This
I
is
have to go
secret agent.
incognito. I can't let
Right.
anybody know that I look like him. Dude,
All right. Back in New York. It's nice actually doing it in person.
it's so much better in person.
We got to figure out the camera. This is a little intense. The camera setup here. That's all right though.
Yeah, we have. I don't know if anyone realizes we literally have just a stack of engineering textbooks propping up a laptop.
And then we have a camera.
It's true.
No lighting, because
Yeah.
we can't afford lighting it just
Got the
yet.
sun, baby.
We have the sun.
We have the sun. I
Yeah.
realize we're all looking at it. It's like we're gonna fire you right
Yeah.
now.
This is your
Because, oh, speaking of, let's talk about HR.
Yeah.
Love HR.
This is
big HR guys.
Big HR fan.
We actually may all become HR associates.
Yeah.
That's the topic of today, is why HR is the best part of every company.
Yeah. I don't know if you've realized it, but that's Susan. You all know Susan. She's your VP of HR at your company. She's actually the most valuable and knowledgeable person at your organization. I know you thought it was the CEO. I know you thought it was the CTO. I know you thought it was like a lot of other positions. It's not. It's Susan in the HR position. She comes in to tell you that you have to do like a quarterly review, or that every year you have to do safety training because you can't call people gay in the workplace. And then occasionally she tells you that you're only getting a $5,000 raise this year, even though you provided millions of dollars worth of value to your company. Susan is the lifeblood of every organization.
That was sarcasm.
That was satire.
Just so everyone can know. No, swear, like whenever you're talking to HR and negotiating or trying to deal with an issue, they're always against you at all times and they hate you.
Yes.
That's the reality.
Yeah. The sad reality is that none of these people are on your side.
They're not on your side.
They're not on your side. And like the most annoying and frustrating thing about dealing with HR people, and Jared and I have had few jobs for other people in our lives, but when you deal with HR people, they try and do this thing where they're like, hey, I'm going to bat for you. They're not. Their job is to work for the CEO and get them to get you to agree to the worst possible terms they can get you
And
to agree
if
to.
they do, if they're able to get, say they sign on 30 people and they're able to fuck 30 people,
Right.
that could save the company, possibly $80,000 a month
Yeah.
if they fuck, or more, a lot more. So the goal, a lot of times, is performance-based. If you're able to lowball 20 idiots and get them all to agree to say 100 instead of 150, guess what's on the table for you at the end of the year bonus?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yes.
And
And the one thing I hate the most is all those situations, those performance metrics they're using are always short-sighted. And it's
Every
always
time.
misaligned with everyone that matters.
Yes.
It's misaligned with the CEO. It's misaligned with the actual employees. Only because the CEO doesn't really care, because it's like lower than his vision.
Right.
So it's like, it's just against everyone. And it's just never, whenever you're in a position negotiating with them, assume you're just communicating with like another lawyer, the other party's lawyer.
Yeah. And that's the classic blunder that you can make when you work for someone else, is to assume that the other party has your best interests in mind. They don't.
they never do.
They-
The only interest they have in line is themselves.
Yeah.
But if you have, it's interesting because it doesn't work that way if you're one-on-one, like working with like a true operator.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
they're like,
True,
if
true.
a really good operator instead of an HR lady is just like, I want to make sure this person is so thrilled and stoked to crush it, as long as they're really capable.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I stoke their fire so
Yes.
that they fucking love me and they want to crush.
Yeah, it's the whole point of golden handcuffs. Like when golden handcuffs are actually done well in like big tech, the whole idea is you pay people so well and give them such extraordinary benefits to the best of the talent that they're like, I can't leave. I couldn't possibly afford to leave. This offer is too good.
Yeah. And it's so funny because it's like those people that are on your side at the company, you have to actually search for them, and it's almost like a politicking thing to find them
Right.
and collect those Pokemon. Because if you don't, over time you'll just be isolated.
Yeah.
And get fucked.
You got to catch them all at your company.
You got to catch them all.
You got to catch them all.
And another thing I hate, which in engineering you probably know, because I've had to deal with in engineering, where it's like, whenever you have your one-on-ones with your boss, and your boss is like, "Oh, here's the career track, and here are like the skills like to develop you to get to that next level." And this is like a thing that I feel like it's like pattern recognition to see. It's so hard to see this. That career track is not the one you need to take at all. It's the one to keep you in your role, so you can never grow. It's because that's what will be cost efficient for the company.
Yeah, especially in engineering.
Yeah,
because they like engineers, especially because a lot of times you kind of get a little bit of that tism. They're very bad at advocating for themselves, and they very often don't know how much they're worth.
1000%.
So what's really good is like getting them into a lead engineering role. But a lead engineering role isn't a staff engineering role, and it isn't, you know, an engineering management or an architecture role. And so they can keep you there, even though you give all the resources and benefit of those higher positions, but you're just happy enough that you think you're doing well.
Well, okay, so something that's confusing to me about how a lot of these companies work, especially companies with highly technical people, like you guys are very technical, right? James is an electrical engineer, Jared's a programmer. What amazes me is when you guys now have to negotiate with someone who could barely pass calculus, pre-calc. Like they couldn't do eighth grade math, and you have to like explain to them what you do. They're like, so why are you valuable in your position? You're like, I build the thing that makes this company billions of dollars. And if I stopped doing this highly technical, complicated thing, everything would crumble. And they would go, yeah, but like Mark also works on that. And he's like, Mark is fundamentally mentally handicapped.
So that's super interesting. Let me talk about, you know what's so fascinating about that is that the reality, this is like the harsh reality, is you have to learn how to talk to that retarded person. Because if they give you someone that knows your language, that person will almost always just be there to box you in, or they're there because they don't want you to actually talk to the person that has the power.
Right.
Because the person that has the power doesn't know the technical stuff.
Yes.
So you have to know how to actually talk to them. Because if you're talking to a guy who's like, oh, I totally understand that, they just gave you that guy just to like make you feel good.
Yeah.
And like,
you need to make everything numbers driven. If I've learned anything, the people that are worst at negotiating and the people that are the worst at like raising money are always the people who don't use numbers. You have to be like, I do this thing and it leads to X revenue or X result or X level of efficiency. There has to be numbers, and be like, and if I don't get this, it will lead to X problem. And it has to be numbers driven. And the second you try and bring them like, well, I'm like really good and like people like me and my boss said I'm great, and it's like no one cares. These are dumb people. You have to be like, I make the company $40 million a year and I need to get paid $4 million a year, and that's it.
The track record for improvement. So one of the comments from Twitch, a little insane, but one of the progress for movement or for improvement is always getting more risk or taking on more risk. It's not learning like Java or C++ or whatever.
It's you want to be fireable. Like if you want to ever move ahead, you want to be fireable. And like I've been in the position where I'm literally unfireable and just so safe, but you can't be safe. You need to be like, I want something that will stretch me and I could fail at. Because that's the only way you get to the next step.
100. And also having other people under you too. Just like, which sucks because it's less technical. So it's like you don't have that you have to change your brain. But if you like aren't taking on the risk, like there is no growth. But they won't tell you that because they don't want to do that. like they want to hire for that, or like they could develop you for that. But like,
well, they're not looking for like in any company, they're looking for like maybe 5 or 10% of people to be risk takers, and the other 90% to just be like hardworking drones. They're worker bees. You know, you tell them to do stuff, they go home and fuck their wife and missionary. They go to bed at 9:30 and they're back smiling in the morning to do more fucking shit. Like that's what they want most of the people to be. And they assume everyone is that until they see someone who takes risks and then it's like, I did this thing and I'm just going to show you the results now. Like I went without you telling me I went and did this thing and I got us 10,000 followers. And it's like, you have to go do stuff like that. And then people are like, oh, this is like this guy goes rogue and he can go figure things out.
Well, so you have to look at it from your position. If you had to hire people like, and you had to have someone on your team, you'd have to want to hire someone that knows your language. So it's like, if all of a sudden this guy's using numbers and shit, then it's like, yeah, like he kind of talks like us. So yeah, we'll give him some actual power in the company because he's on our team. Most engineers, like, which I'm sure you know just from knowing engineers for years, and I've had to deal with it a ton, is like most engineers, they only focus their power dynamics is all on the things they can control, which is just down. And the CEO and the power players, their power, it's all shit they can't control. It's all like territorial stuff, which is important. So it's like the engineer's like, well, why can't I just write all the instructions down and then do everything? Right. And it's like, well, it's because you're dealing with chaotic shit that you can't control. And I think like once you can translate that, that's when people are like, yeah, this guy's he's a crusher.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting too is like there's two. It's engineering is more challenging because it's almost in your best interest to work for teams that can train you, like to work under other engineers who are really, really good. Whereas if you're a marketer or a salesperson, you can kind of figure it out. Like obviously mentorship is always valuable, but it's way easier to just like Google how to be a good marketer, figure out how to run ad campaigns, trial and error until it succeeds, and then get really cracked out at that. Engineering, like it's way easier for someone who's cracked to be like, do this and get training. So it is in, especially earlier careers at engineer, imagine it's incentivized to go work for smart, good engineers at a big company.
Dude, that's it.
Yeah, that's all. That's it. You need to see how the big dogs play.
Yeah.
And like
100%.
And oftentimes, especially for engineers, one of the most important thing that you can learn is you want to find an engineer that's not only very technically an amazing engineer, but one that's very aware of the system of the company. Because what you are trying to build also works within the constraints of profitability and deliverables and time frame. So engineers are often very much just swamped with like, I want to build the coolest thing ever, and this is my capability, and I don't really care what it costs. A really good director of engineering is like, I need to know timelines, deliverables, minimum product that'll make our customers happy, what releases we can do in what time frame to make them think that they're getting a little bit more for the cheapest amount of money with the least amount of engineering support that don't require lots of maintenance on the back end, or in the future when it's like it's a very dynamic system and engineers are always so focused. A good director or CTO needs to be basically a politician that's managing the technical side and knows it well, and then is managing company resources to achieve the overall company goal. And like, if you don't find that engineer, that you can shadow or follow, you'll follow the genius Nikola Tesla that people are like, well, I don't know why he never, he didn't get the praise that he needed. And he didn't get the praise he needed because he didn't give a fuck about the other things that are important, which is making the entire organization go forward.
And it's so funny because all those skills, that'll actually make your life better if you care about that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of engineers hate their lives because they don't actually know what it translates to. So they're just like, dude, is Will joining in?
What's up?
Yeah.
Hi, y'all.
Hey,
this is Jabroni Capital's newest business liaison, our top man. Yeah, we're talking about how HR people are the dumbest people at companies. Yeah. That's basically it. And like,
there's like this movement to just like get rid of HR entirely.
I would love that.
Yeah.
If they could, that'd be great.
It would be awesome.
But no one wants to do it though.
No one wants to
except for demons.
Yeah. Well, like demons need to have jobs. You don't want them just out and about.
Yeah.
Like,
We need to put them
If
somewhere.
you just get sociopaths and psychopaths, put them as the head of HR. They make a great head of HR.
Yeah.
They can tell everybody they care about them, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's like a daycare center for the worst people in the world.
Yeah.
It's like if they're just walking around the city, like you got crazy psychos.
What if we
like,
put we create an HR staffing company, but we don't actually, so it's just, we create like a government subsidiary where we just hire all of the HR people that we possibly can and tell them they're working for companies, but they're not. They wouldn't, because we're gonna give them tasks, we're gonna give them quarterly reports, we're gonna like give them dossiers on, get AI to create fake profiles of people so they can have jobs.
honestly, well, what would even be funnier is to do it to do one where there's like fake Zoom calls, fake everything.
Yeah.
And they all just, so we find a way for them to, like, someone to spend money who's like, we say, oh, you're going to get paid whatever, but you have to give us some money for whatever. And we say that to all of them. So we just pay each of them the money they gave us. And we just put in a little seed of like 10K to jumpstart it.
Oh, I like
and
this.
they're all just paying each other.
Good idea.
So there's no, like, it's actually just a self-sustaining system.
Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme of HR idiots.
What if you also made a fake HR company that just posts HR jobs, and then that helps you vent who in society is a mess?
Right.
You like, because you'll know whoever applied
Right.
to them needs to be put on a watch list somewhere.
Now, okay, question. Now, what do you think is, now we know most HR reps are women. What is the profile in the mental state of the man who's like, I want to be an HR guy?
Literally the worst person alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know someone from high school, by the way, who's an HR guy.
We should just put Navy SEALs in charge of HR.
Dude, well, they'd fucking kill them. They would hate it though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, but they could reform it. They
Yeah.
regularly
Yeah,
come in
yeah,
and HR.
yeah,
Just
they
Navy SEALs
reform
come
it.
in.
Let's just put the Navy SEAls on HR.
Yeah, it's like,
They'd be like, listen up, Josh. I heard you were looking for a performance bonus. Let me give it to you straight, fucker. What's up? What do you think you need? What do you need? What do you need to do to get this job done?
listen, well, actually, why don't you meet me on the Gulf? We're going to go for a run this morning, talk about your raise.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna assess your capabilities.
Just the Navy SEAL being like, how many push-ups can you do in a row? Oh, you think regular? No, I mean clap. I can do 78 clap push-ups in a row right now. Outstanding.
Dude, honestly, if we did that, America would make the GDP would increase so much.
10x.
It would actually, it wouldn't be fair. We'd have to cut it back just to let other countries.
Yeah, because like
catch
they'd be
up.
like, we got a good soldier on our hands that you're not gonna take care of. If you don't take care of him, I'm quitting too. I'll go down with my boys.
Yeah.
They're like, he's part of my team. I need him. If you're gonna get rid of him, I'm out too.
Yeah, this is
And
dope.
he's like,
Yeah,
he's like, you can put me in corporal punishment. I don't care.
yeah,
They're like,
yeah.
what?
yeah. Yeah, you court-martial me. I dare you. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Chad?
He's the janitor. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
they're
like, these floors being clean motivates everybody to work a little bit harder. I'm on his side.
Yeah,
good to go.
yeah. I'm approving this race.
Also,
And he just gets a
if there is an active shooter situation,
Right.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That sure is getting clapped.
Yeah, all of a sudden the lights go out and just like tactical smoke
you
starts
just hear
filling
they're
up.
like active. Oh, target neutralized. They're like, I think there was an active shooter, but he's just gone. I guess.
Yeah,
THR, tactical HR.
tactical HR.
Yeah, it's like,
HR.
yeah, Agent Bronson. I just roamed the cafeteria.
I assessed the threat level. It was minimal. I didn't even have to pull up my Glock. I
just got off a call, letting Stacy know that your PTO is approved, and so I did a tactical reconnaissance of the HR department and the cafeteria, neutralized the threat.
That is, we actually have a good question in the chat.
Okay.
Which is better, going to a job and feel like you're better than everyone, or going into a job thinking you're a dumbass?
I mean,
Now, this is a good question to
it's
cover.
interesting.
Because the reality is you should be able to assess you are an adult. So I would hope at a certain point in adulthood, you realize what level of intelligence you're at. So you should probably already by like, I don't know, 23, know where you kind of stand roughly in the pack. So if you're asking us this question and be like, should I go in thinking I'm better than everyone? Well, have you been better than most people throughout your entire life?
Yeah.
Were you achieving more than your peers in many other places in life? Shut the stream off. Oh, we're back. All right, we're back.
Okay, all right.
That's good.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I kind of get his question. I think more what he's trying to say is just like, is it worse or better to know that you're better than everyone else, or if you or like, is it better to be in a company where you think you're way smarter than everyone else, or better to be in a company where you think you're way dumber? And I think at least when you get a new job, especially if it's a technical job, hopefully you're really impressed by some of the people around you.
Yeah.
But eventually, after some amount of time, you should start to be like, I'm actually better than him now and that, that, and that. Because then it means you're good. Like I got that in my job. When I first started, I was working under 2 engineers, like a senior controls engineer and then my VP of engineering. I'm like, these dudes are fucking great at engineering. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Then as they hired on new people and whatever, I'm like, I'm better than all these guys.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that just came from I got more training. I aced what I was good at. I learned everything. And
You're
then I'm
smarter than these people.
I'm like, all right, so I actually know a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot in my shit that I'm still like, there's a bunch of people that are better at some things than me. Like I have the coworkers that are better at some things than me, I know, in certain fields. But I'm like, overall, I'm a great package. Like I'm better at them in a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah. Also, I feel like career, especially early career, like first 10 to 15 years, I guess, is all just like growth.
Yeah.
And it's eating. It's really, it's getting energy. It's just like getting to be a fish that's growing and getting into bigger and bigger ponds. And sometimes you're in the same pond, but just it gets bigger because like the company's getting better, or you're with other fish that you guys are feeding off of each other. So you're just getting better and better. So you should kind of think you're not, I mean, you shouldn't think you're a dumbass. I don't know where that's just, you're just
never
not
think you're dumb.
Yeah.
He's also, the going caveat, he is 18.
So
if you are 18, I don't know what your job is. You could just be a fucking shark, like, and be in a sick job. But if you're 18 and you're working at like a Papa John's, there's a good chance that you are just working with a bunch of morons.
Like, honestly.
And you could be way better than them. But hopefully, eventually, you get to a job and you're like, all right, I'm actually par for the course or better.
Yeah.
Or I'm par for the course now, but in a year, I'm going to be better than these people at this.
Also, being around people where you want to kind of like prove your worth.
Yeah. You want them to be like, good job.
Yeah. And if you feel good, you're like, oh, someone who's awesome thinks I did a good job. Like, nice. That's great.
Yeah, it's good.
It's because you want to be increasing your potential. So you don't want to be around people who are actually lower performing than you, because you'll match them and then you'll stunt your potential. Yeah. And you only have a short window to increase your potential in your career, especially in engineering.
Yeah, that's another one too. Like I can't, the biggest thing I can tell people is be scared when you get complacent or you think everyone around you just doesn't do a lot. Yeah. Because it either means that you're in a company that's so big that you can hide. Yeah. And that means you'll never grow. And it might seem cool right now when you're like 25 or 24, you've been in the workplace, you're like, dude, I can barely work and like no one notices and I'm still getting paid 90 grand. But now you're going to be stuck there forever. Because you're not in a company that challenges you.
That's being a guy who isn't challenged at 24 is like cool for a second. If you weren't challenged from 24 to 44, that's the least cool guy ever. And you'll fucking hate
You'll meet the guy that's been in the same level for forever. So like never get too complacent. Find jobs that challenge you, but that you know you can succeed at. Or, and then once you've done that, try and find jobs that will be hard for you and you might not succeed at. But the risk return, if you do succeed at them, is a big career move because you solved a big problem. And essentially all you're trying to do on your resume is you're trying to be like, for your next job, here's everything I solved for this company. And this is the quantitative value I provided. And the new company that's hiring you goes, that seems like a good fucking deal for $200,000 a year. You did all of that in 3 years. That's all you're doing.
That's pretty good. Now, changing subjects just slightly. Did you guys see that video, or did you see that video on Twitter that was like circulating the last couple of days, which was like this guy getting ready to go to work in the morning, just like a sales guy in the Midwest in like a nice house.
No.
And it was just like him, like with a manicured life, like putting his like laptop in his bag, having a shake at 7 a.m, and then going to work, working from 8 to 4, coming home, and then taking his dog out. And everyone was like, "This is slavery." They like watched this video. They watched this video of this guy just like having a job, like in insurance, like doing good work, getting like a 2-hour lunch break, and then going home at 4.
Yeah.
And people were like, "This is slavery."
Slavery.
And I was looking at this, and it was like, but the thing is, I was like, it's not the life that I want watching this guy. But I was watching that video, I was like, nice house, nice car, seemingly good job that pays pretty well, and like he's just like a regular guy. And I was like, he doesn't look like, I'm like, maybe he's like, what if he's not in debt and he's like saving money and he's got a girlfriend? I was like, what more do you, I was like, everyone that's commenting,
Which
I know
job did he have?
just like some insurance sales guy or whatever. But I was looking at these people being like, this is slavery. And I'm like, most of you guys are losers who live with your parents, and you're making fun of this guy who has like a job and like a girlfriend, and like he's just living a regular life.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know where this sentiment came from, where everyone just thinks they're like an Andrew Tate hustler, except they have they don't do anything cool.
Yeah.
They go home and smoke weed and get fucked up every night. And then they like maybe work on a side project, and they're like, I'm free though.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, you're not. You're addicted to technology,
Yeah.
and you're doing the same sort of drone bullshit this guy is, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But then looking down on his like regular sales job.
You know what it is? It's all boils down to, and I think this is what's happened recently when people are just like on TikTok, whatever, or on Reddit, and they're all complaining about the corporate, they're enslaving all of us and shit. And it's like, don't get me wrong, corporations will absolutely use you if you let them, but you have leverage once you're good at stuff.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to leverage it. And if you don't, and then you get curmudgeon-y, and then you go on Reddit and complain and bitch about how it's your job and stuff, it's not the company's fault. It's your fault because you didn't use your leverage.
Yeah.
And but here's the other thing. You might have leverage and vouch for yourself, and a company might make a bad decision and fire you.
Yeah.
That's also going to happen in life. But either you don't be a bitch about it and pick yourself back up and know your worth and know you have leverage doing something else, or you go on Reddit and bitch and complain. Those are your options.
Exactly. And it really is just about not being a bitch. That's really what it is.
It is.
Yeah. Because
we figured it out.
Because like I think a lot of people in our generation, especially, they believe they're owed everything, and they're not fully aware that like any day you can be fully humbled, and that can really be bad.
Yeah.
And it can be the worst thing ever, and you can be in the dirt. And that's why I feel like it's a good mentality to always be like just grateful for super small stuff. And like you could have nothing, and it's like, dude, that guy can have the best day ever, and that you wouldn't even imagine, because he got a good sale that day in his job. And it doesn't really like the perspective on who he is, the vanity of it. It's like, oh, he's just fucking drones away at this fucking, it's like these anti-work people, they don't actually have real experiences. It's all just like what they see on the internet. So I think they're just bitches. That's all it is.
Yeah, no,
bitches?
It's if you're bitching, it's like, dude, if you were such a hustler and had so much time, you wouldn't be on Reddit. You'd be out here crushing it. Andrew Tate isn't arguing with people on Reddit because he thinks you're all pussies.
Yeah.
He's just out driving a Bugatti and trying to find a new girl that he can throw to jail. I know. It's like, I don't know what to tell you.
It's just farming, like,
you know, Teddy Roosevelt, be the man in the arena. You're
Yeah.
either the man in the arena or you're the man in the fucking in the stadium watching and being like, I could do that, but you're not doing it. So what do you want me to
Which, by the way, the other guy that you're making fun of is just a man in a stadium minding his own business, making $80,000 a year, and he owns a house. you will never own anything
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're going to work on your stupid fucking dumb widget that no one wants. You're going to smoke weed every day and you're going to fuck some mid bitch from Murray Hill till you're fucking dead and 40 and complain about how you can't own an apartment. And that's what these people are going to do. And it blows my mind.
So speaking on the like working at a company thinking you're a dumbass and everything. Yeah, it's like, don't like just works. Don't take the road of thinking you're like the shit when you're actually not. Because what happens is you become the guy who's like always pointing at other people and what they're doing because you think you're the shit at level 1 when you're nothing. So that guy will be level 1 forever.
Yeah.
Because he'll always be comparing himself to other people. And it's just like, it's bitch behavior.
Yeah.
It's just like, again, we talked, the only other time I've been on this podcast, we talked about this. If you create value, and if you make them money, they want to keep you. It's a simple operation. And there's only 2 things that a business needs to survive. The guy who builds it and the guy who sells it.
Yeah.
If you don't do either of those things, you better hope the company's big enough that it needs a lot of operational support. And those are critical for these 2 things. Remember, if you're in operations, you're either helping the guy who's selling it or you're helping a guy who's building it.
Yeah.
Because the guy who sells stuff needs something to sell.
And then the only other third position you forgot about is the limbo demon position.
And HR.
Bringing it all back
Bring it
around.
all back.
You're either bringing it, you're wasting everyone's time as an HR person.
Yeah, the building does something, the selling does something, the HR just parasitically sucks off their energy.
Yeah.
They're like, we take 5% off the top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we come in and reap the rewards of these other 2
You ever seen a
departments.
lamprey? A little bit like a lamprey.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. It just makes me it frustrates me to no end to see those videos like going viral and just like all of these like, it's always like finance guy 12 or like some guy who like owns a strip mall being like, yeah, this is financial slavery. And I'm like, dude, this is like, this is not the person to be making fun of in our society. We have so many nightmares walking around in the streets on a daily basis. We've got plenty of other people we could be focusing our attention to who are not contributing to society. This guy just has like a job and a house. Just like leave him be.
Dude, also it's like not everyone's an entrepreneur. That's like a very specific thing.
Yeah, like especially and like remember we were talking earlier about like engineers that like don't ever want to climb.
Yeah,
I know I've met a bunch of engineers in my time that are clearly geniuses, and all they ever want to do. Like I met a guy who, when I first was trying to get an electrical engineer, I called him. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be. He was right out of college.
Yeah,
and he was like, "James, I just want you to know, I'm definitely a little autistic." He's like, last year I put 180,000 transistors on a circuit board and planned out the most efficient route of all of them. And he's like, for my job, that's what I need. I'm good at that. And I like that. And he doesn't want to climb. He's just a phenomenal electrical engineer who has a background in physics and like quantum mechanics. And he just likes circuit boards and designing shit and working on mathematical models. And he never wants to be in the business. And that's okay.
That's fine.
And he knows that he's like, I won't be good at it. I don't want to do it. I want to stay in my lane. And that's okay.
You know what I think a lot of this is? Like why these people that are yelling at the guy who just has a job and is like has a house and stuff, they're mad at him because they're attributing entrepreneurship to some form of faith. Because God has died.
Interesting.
Like entrepreneurship for them is like a value structure. It's like you're doing your own thing. You're building a company. You're changing the world. It's like, no, that's a faith structure you've put onto entrepreneurship.
Interesting.
Like that's how I view it. It's like instead of God, like because it used to be if you had God, it'd be like, oh, Mark's a really great member of the community. He's a God-going guy. He like helps. He like is a good father. He works as a janitor. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And it's like that's an upstanding member of society. Now throw that in the garbage. There's God's dead, and they're
He
like,
doesn't have a janitorial business.
yeah, you don't hustle and grind. It's like you're
Dude,
no
where's your
longer
passive income?
Yeah, it's like it's like almost like faith and value structure is just being an entrepreneur and doing stuff. And all 3 of us are entrepreneurial, but like the coolest people I know are not necessarily entrepreneurs.
Also, like sometimes you shouldn't be in your entrepreneurial phase. Like especially like as engineers.
Yeah.
If anybody tells you that the best engineers just like are just like, dude, I got out of college, I just immediately started a company, or 18. No, you didn't, because it's very important to go to a big ass engineering company and see how it works in the big dogs, because you have no insight into what that looks like. It's one thing to run you and 2 guys in India that do the back coding for you. It's another thing when you have a department of 15,000 software engineers that are over literally 1,100 products.
Dude,
like, it's not the same thing.
Super important. And you talked about systems, how like understanding the system versus like the linear thing. I talked about in the stream where it's like there's linear thinking and systems thinking. It's also a thing in coding where it's like a lot of people are just really good at just solving this one problem that's like the lead code problem. You're just super good at it. And a lot of people are good at like this system understanding architecture. It's just 2 different ways of thinking. A lot of people invest in just like the linear thing of just what they can look at really early, because they want to like, oh, I want to grind and hustle and be an entrepreneur when I'm like 18, and I want to like learn all this shit. But they just get like very shallow understanding of everything.
Yeah.
Become a master of none. And then they'll never understand greater systems. So when they have to, like 15, 20 years down the line, when people need someone to run fucking Boeing, the only people that know how to run Boeing are like the generational family people that are sent to like Montessori or whatever schools where they teach you to do system stuff. So all the people that are like self-made, none of them know how to run those companies.
Yeah, that main problem with the Boeing thing is not that there aren't people; it's that there were people that knew what they're doing, but they were all killed.
Yeah,
I think
they were all murdered
systematically.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think,
we have some information on that. We'll send links.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll send links.
You know, on that though, it's like, sorry, what were you talking about?
Well, I was just saying, self-made people like, they cap out and they get shallow knowledge off.
Yeah, because and they said like the thing I was going to mention is like, and this isn't a something that's set in stone, but there's a very big reason why if you look at like the people that built the biggest companies in the world, very a couple times you have Mark Zuckerbergs who are like 21. But the majority of the time, those people were like in their 30s when they made their first million, or like 35, 40 even. Because a lot of times to build up a company to where you want it to be big, you have to have systems knowledge and organizational knowledge. And that's sometimes a lot more important to getting you can build the business if you're just really smart. But if you want to build a global conglomerate of a business, you have to humble yourself and be like, I need to understand how these structures work. Because it's politics, it's organizational, it's
also like even one of the dude I want you to meet tonight, Will's buddy, who's going to be at the event later. This dude has been working on his thing for 9 years.
Nice.
And after 9 years, like he's like the first 6.5, 7 years were a nightmare.
Yeah.
He was like, I didn't make any money in my first 6 months. They're now doing $100 million a year. Yeah, it's a big boy company, but you know, he's I think he's in maybe 40, 41. And so it took him 9 years.
And think about when he started too. That means he was 32, 33.
Yeah.
He worked in the field for 10 years.
Yeah.
It was like, I got an insight. I'm going to try a product. And it took him till 39, 40 to even start making any money.
Yeah.
Previous phase of tech is, you have the wunderkind that starts the company at 18. Next phase, let's just make it regular like it was for what built America.
Yes. Let's go back to basics.
I worked in a mining factory for 15 years and went, hey, I could build that better.
Dude, Henry Ford it took him 12 years to build the Model T. Was working at Edison, was the top hot shot guy there, 12-hour days for 12 years, like 28 to 40 or something. And then did that, built the Model T car at home. And then Ford happened in like his late 30s. People think like you have to do this shit like as soon as you're like, oh, I'm out of college. I gotta like fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
No, we were sending 21-year-olds to war.
No, you can.
It's just I think people shitting on it and thinking that the hustle culture needs to be now is just like, you take opportunities when you actually have good ideas, not just because you think you need to be doing it.
I know.
Brian says in the chat, Jack knew you had a twin, but didn't know he was smarter than you.
He's so much smarter than me. Brian, I don't know if you realize this. My name of a company is Jabroni Capital. That's what I do. Everyone in my family is smarter than me. I'm the biggest dumbass of them all.
It's so funny though. It's like, yeah, everyone thinks they're fucking special, man. That's what it is.
Everyone wants to be a special boy.
Man. Yeah, special
and just
boy.
accept too, like, always be humble. Remember, really special people die poor and alone.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Incredibly unique, special people
Yeah.
never achieve anything.
Divergent.
So just remember that it's a process.
Yeah.
And you either get beaten down by it or you just optimistically think about the things you can control. Like good engineers come up with really cool inventions because they just are thinking about the things they know.
Yeah.
And they get institutional knowledge and they're like, I wonder if I could change this.
Yeah.
And then they try.
Yeah.
They don't bitch and go, no one wants to give me more money. They're like, I wonder in my free time if I can build this cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
They humble themselves to what they can do and they just fucking do it. And then the real innovativeness comes from escalating the knowledge over time and just going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you're like, oh, fuck. Like, I just figured out some new crazy thing with batteries that no one knows. And I only know it because it's proprietary. And like,
hopefully a shadow government doesn't kill me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you're doing batteries, like, watch out. You might get got.
Yeah. Someone's going to knock on your door and then it's all going to be over.
Send details if you want a water run car. We'll DM you, but we won't
remember
tell
that
you.
guy?
No.
Oh, there's a guy.
No.
There's a guy claiming to have a car that runs on water for forever.
Oh, that's
Cannot
awesome.
confirm.
That's awesome. What would be our what would be our scheme that's totally fake business? Like we have a laser that can be shot from space and incinerate anyone. Like what do we lie and say that we have in development, but that's just completely fucking full of shit.
That's good because if you have a laser that can kill anyone in development at any time, you win every negotiation.
And then
that is true, but I just want to go out and say that I feel like that's a very easy one to disprove.
A space laser?
Mathematically, you can just all lasers are identical essentially, and you can just calculate how much energy is required for the laser to be able to go through the atmosphere at that level of energy because it's going to ionize all of the air. So and then and it needs to travel 300 miles from a satellite.
All right, we really brought this.
You're thinking too much about it.
Yeah, we brought this
too much.
This is why we don't bring this smart guy on the podcast. God,
all right,
it's just Jared and me normally.
We're not going to negotiate with someone who knows math.
Yeah, we can't do that. Jared and I didn't go to college. This is fucking bullshit.
Every
ionizing.
negotiation, we're like, don't bring the guy who knows math.
Yeah, Jared and I trying to start.
Bring your HR lady. I know I can handle her.
Yeah,
bring the HR lady.
We will go scream and make an HR lady named Susan cry. That's what we can do.
We say who has the money. Okay,
yeah,
that's it.
Well, all Jared and I are qualified to do is build like a school for young men in the woods and like teach them how to do like jujitsu and lift weights.
But you guys don't know how to do jujitsu.
That's why we get a guy.
We get a guy.
We get a guy.
Delegate.
We delegate, James. Again, we're not expecting everyone to be able to do math here. Just the people that we need to do math.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for businesses, we should do assassinations.
Oh, we're gonna get in that?
Oh yeah. Assassination business. We could just start the dark web again.
Darker web?
Yeah, the darker web. I can't say it.
Oh god.
Dude.
We're just gonna create red rooms. Is this what you're?
Well, I was just saying we could do like a racially oriented.
Oh god.
I think that would be fun.
We're gonna start race wars on the dark web.
It could be called Race Wars. Where you log into Race Wars and you just pick a color and then you just.
What if we're like porn? Hear me out. In the sense that we have all of the most advanced technology on Race Wars for like bioidentification markers.
Oh.
Like we innovate in all these different fields with the most horrific cause in technology on the planet.
It's like, and then we're talking to like Senate and we're like, hear me out.
All right, guys, we could sell you this technology. Or we could just sell you Race Wars.
It's like, listen, do you want Race Wars or do you want this technology?
They're like, we just want the technology. Shut down. We want you to shut down your site.
I feel like you're really skipping out of the value of Race Wars.
All right, Jared, can you pull up, Jared, can you go to slide 2 on the PowerPoint?
It's like no, guys. The technology we just built that for race wars. What we want to sell is race wars. If you're not buying race wars, we don't want your $3 billion for the technology.
You make like the most insane AI that just sweeps everything out in the water for race wars, and you're like negotiating with like Apple. They're like, listen, we'll give you $2 billion. They're like, if you don't take race wars, we're not even.
This
talking.
is my baby. I want. This is all I care.
No, they come back. They come back like, okay, here's the deal. You don't have to take the business model, but you need to own the domain.
They're like, okay.
And you need to publicly purchase the domain Race Wars for $80 billion from us.
They're like,
then you can shut it down. You can shut it down, but you gotta purchase it.
I think Elon will do it. I think we don't even have to negotiate.
No, there's no negotiations necessary.
He'll be like, oh,
oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That's very funny. Okay.
Very funny. Mark Zuckerberg is going to think I'm cool.
Oh, that's
You think those guys are fighting?
I hope.
Apparently, the Colosseum, he got contact in the Colosseum. Italy said that the Italian government said they would let him use the Colosseum.
No way.
Dude,
Yeah,
you
he
know
said-
Italy's bankrupt that they're doing.
Yeah,
that.
they're like, yeah, definitely. We
we'll
get
take
Mark. Well, by the way, smart business decision. You can already go in the Coliseum, and it's just two retards fighting.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not-
also,
It's not going to damage the Coliseum.
Yeah.
They're just gonna have to put a drone up
Yeah.
there and a camera, and then just have two autistic guys
Yeah.
fight in the middle.
Dude,
But it's not going to get destroyed.
Who's gonna win? Who do you think's gonna win?
What's first of all?
Well, Elon apparently is very convinced that he could just lay on Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, is he fat?
Yeah, he's like, I'm 200. He's like, I got like 90 pounds on Mark.
No, what I think is more funny is I want to imagine negotiations with the like retarded Italian government and Elon Musk. The Italians being like, "This is great. We can bring them more revenue. Let's charge them $100,000." And they're like, "This is going to be great for the budget." And they just ask for no money because they're dumb Italians.
Italy's just in debt because they're retarded. Italians are just retarded.
They're
That's the only
hot,
reason
but
why.
they're hot and they have awesome food.
That's true.
They have an amazing culture. They don't need to be smart.
No.
They should be subsidized. If anything, we should just like America should buy all of Italy and just subsidize it.
The darker room exists. Yeah, dude. Honestly, if we had we need to combine race wars with Coliseum fighting.
Oh God! What are we putting like some guy? Oh, I don't even.
I don't know if I want to be involved in this one.
All right.
Okay, just hear me out.
Jared, you take this one.
Yeah, Jared, we're gonna let you take that department.
All I'm saying is we get someone that represents each race, and we do like slap fighting. You guys see the slap game?
Dude,
sure.
You gotta get Dana White on
That's
this.
not fun for us.
Dude.
I know what you got on your team. You're gonna win.
No. You guys got
Iceland.
Got Tyson Fury.
Yeah, we've
got
got
Yeah.
Iceland.
Yeah, you have what's his face?
Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, you have Francis Ngannou.
Dude, he just lost.
That was bullshit,
It was
though.
lost a boxing match, which he was beating the fuck out of Tyson, and Tyson won on
True.
technicalities. If it was a fight, Francis Ngannou
Would
would have
eat him.
eaten Tyson Fury.
Probably.
He would eat him.
No.
If he
not
could use
probably.
he could use a rear naked
If
chokehold.
he could use
Yeah.
Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and kickboxing, he would have murdered.
So we're saying Francis Ngannou on the black side,
Yeah.
white side, probably not Tyson.
What-
It has
what
to be UFC.
What about
guys for
Hathor
everything.
Bjornsson or like Steve Shaw?
he
Get like
can't-
a 400-pound mountain man.
Yeah,
So
we
we
do
needs
need
to train Hathor to do like jujitsu and fucking MMA. So is someone training that
I
guy?
don't know.
They
Yeah.
need to feed him and
You
train
guys
him.
also have John Jones though. This is really not fair.
Yeah.
You have John Jones and Francis Ngannou.
That
Like
is
this
a
is never gonna
terrifying
work.
prospect.
You know what? We gotta rebrand Race Wars. It's not the best. We just do it like anyone can do Race Wars. So you can
Okay.
do Race Wars at your school. All right, maybe this isn't a great idea. I gotta think through the idea. We gotta decentralize Race Wars. I'm just thinking through the idea.
So it's like open AI for race.
Yeah. Anyone can do Race Wars. Open Race Wars.
You know, there's
It's
actually
open
I know a
source.
couple of countries that are currently doing. I think they stole our idea.
Dude,
honestly,
can we sue those
The-
warlords in Africa over race wars?
they're like, they have it trademarked. We gotta fucking go.
Yeah, that's what we're in front of Congress about. We're like, this is a serious issue. They're
They're
like,
like-
you can't patent race war.
They're like, but we really want the technology. You guys like solved like all these CS problems. You like figured out like space travel. Because we wanted to do it on Mars, so we actually figured out how to get to Mars to do race wars.
Yes. We won't sell you the technology until you help us go after these fuckers overseas who are taking our concept and using our IP.
Let's see. Honestly, I feel like Mark is already destroying Elon in the AI race, that's for sure. Yeah, all right. We need to at least get Mark and Elon to do a little. Are they different races?
Guys,
No.
here's the
They're
thing.
both white.
Here's the thing. Can you just imagine though, instead of them fighting, what if they just teamed up?
Oh, what if it's a team up?
What do you mean?
If Mark and Elon team up,
They join forces.
Make a joint company.
Oh, that would be fun.
Wait, what if them, just the Power Rangers, like it's them, the two of them team up and they call Bezos and they're like, we need you.
Yeah, they form a gigantic
two.
a mecha suit.
Just
Against,
Google
no,
and,
against
like-
the world. What do you mean?
I'm thinking of
Every
I'm
government.
thinking of like them just creating like Gundam suits.
dude, and then you have to, and then you just get. Would you get recruited?
What if-
get
no,
recruited?
Well, you know about the
Elon
whole-
Musk
no,
would
what
want to
about, like,
control the suit
no,
through the
guys,
penis.
you know, like all the alien shit that they've been talking about, like like there's different alien sightings,
Yeah.
and like
yeah.
the Navy's been disclosing like there's unidentified vehicles. What if like Elon, Mark, and Bezos come out and they're like, we need to defend Earth,
Oh my god! And they just hostile
and they
take
create
over.
they privatize the Earth Defense Force.
Yeah,
Earth Defense Force, dude. I'm down.
I'm down for that.
I'm
EDF
down.
instead of the SDF, like in Japan.
Yeah, this is a fantastic idea. But by the way, this would unify. Okay, we're gonna have to pick. Maybe we get Jack Ma.
Oh yeah.
We get someone from China. We gotta
yeah.
start bringing cultures together.
He's already had a chip in his brain. He like disappeared for 2 years.
We're
and
gonna
came
have
back
to
alive.
unchip. We're gonna have to extract
Chips.
him. We're gonna have to extract
Dude,
him.
Jack Ma dropped off the radar for like 2 years and came back like, "Hello, guys, I love China." It's like, and they're like, "Wait a second." China was like, "You're getting too westernized. We need to bring you back in."
Have you guys ever seen the photo of Jack Ma? He like at his own birthday party, he got on stage and dressed as a like punk rocker and just played a guy's own concert.
Dude, that's like some schizo retard energy I've ever.
Wait. Speaking
What?
of that, who's the JP Morgan guy who's like the CTO or whatever that just also DJs?
He's a Goldman guy.
Or the Goldman guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like he's a chief
Huh.
executive. He's like a chief officer, and he just on the weekends plays at the hottest disco raves in New York.
What the fuck?
He's
they're
like
all-
one of
they're
the
all
hottest
deviants.
acts.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like some 50-year-old
Is
dude.
he playing tonight?
We're not going.
I don't think we could get in.
No. There's
I
no
remember I was looking at this guy. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "He makes like $80 million a year. He just
because they're
part of a demon corporation, and
they're deviants. They're deviants.
and he just like plays at like sex raves and shit." It's like,
Oh,
damn, dude.
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
What about that? Like, I always wonder why in New York you go to places and there's like a 50-year-old dude that's just been DJing for 30 years in New York, just like hopped up on Molly for 30 years straight.
Well,
How
if
the
you-
fuck can you live like that?
Well,
I
you're gonna
don't
die
understand.
soon, but like you get a lot of ass and you make good money for a while.
Yeah, I guess.
You know?
Is that worth it?
No,
it's like
of
they
course
look
not.
so unhealthy.
Of course
I just-
not. But like that's what people make that trade off. It's like, is it worth it to be a football player where you become functionally retarded by the time you're 45, but you make $20 million? Like, I don't know. Would you take that trade off?
Dude, there needs to be like a tech FL, like a TFL.
And they need to
have,
fight
like,
physically.
Yeah, like a league for tech. Like we recruit tech people. It's got to be some competition.
Oh, I have it. So they all love rock climbing, but with swords. They're on a wall together, and whoever knocks each other person off with the samurai sword, because it has to be violent.
You have to get to the
cutting
top.
rope.
No.
No.
They're bold. No, there's no rope. They're bouldering to the top with samurai swords.
Free climbing.
And there's 10 people on the wall. Last man standing or first to the top wins. And you can fully dismember another person.
What if that became the new HR? It's just whoever wins, they get a raise.
Yeah. Whoever wins gets a raise.
Hey, that's a fucking
just-
terrible idea because then I can't succeed because I'm bad at my job.
True.
Yeah, no one that's this is what we're dealing with here is most people are horrendous at work, and they don't want anyone who's good at work to be rewarded.
Which is, honestly, the fact that most people suck at work, I think that's gonna get a lot worse. And I was actually literally just talking to my dad about that. I'm like, what are people gonna do?
Well, no one has attention spans. You need attention to do work. And I've been dealing with this a lot with myself of just we all want to unplug, but like when you're so addicted to this thing for 7 hours a day, and then you're also addicted to other amounts of stimulation, how is it possible you're good at anything?
Well, also think about it. Like that happened. What? Like we're like about 10 months apart, so like roughly same year.
Yeah.
What about when? Like it was like 12 or no, it was probably like 9 when phones were like a thing. We were like 9, 8.
Yeah.
And then like 12, everyone has a fucking phone. That's like a good amount of time to have your brain develop. Right now you're 1, you're a baby, and you have a tablet, and you're on TikTok.
You're fucked
the whole time.
Yeah, those.
Well, that's what I've always said. Like I got my first, and obviously we're still pretty young. I got my first flip phone when I was 12 or 13. Jack and I shared it, and then in high school, we had a flip phone when we were in middle school, and it was because otherwise my parents were on top of where we were.
That's good.
Before I was 11, they're like, I know where he is at all times because he's 11 and he could get murdered.
Right.
No, but then I got a flip phone, and then in college, when I went to high school, that's when I got like a shitty iPhone 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
No,
when I was like 14 or 15, I think was when I got it.
I got my iPhone 4 taken away very quickly because I got bad grades. So I actually didn't have my own cell phone until senior year of high school because I only had an iPod.
That's actually hilarious.
I only had an iPod Touch because my parents.
How bad grades?
It was not even that bad, like C's and B's. But my parents were sticklers, and they were, and like I don't know, maybe I wasn't doing like a lot. I wasn't like doing like sports and stuff. I had no excuse other than I just like played Minecraft all day, like literally. And they're like, you don't get a phone now. They took my iPhone. They gave me an iPhone in sophomore year, and then they took it away within like 4 or 5 months. And then I didn't use out a phone until I was 17, which was good because then I didn't have Facebook. The only way I could talk to people was like I think Snapchat texting, but no one else did that back then. So I texted no one.
Nice.
I was
just isolated.
I was isolated.
It's kind of good though.
I was just a virgin loser who's just like staring at the woods.
Do you think? I think every guy should not have access to technology if he's a virgin. So until you
that's
have sex,
a good idea.
Until you have sex, then you get access to the grid.
I think that this, I'm pretty libertarian. One thing I think that we do need, you should not be allowed to use social media until you're 18.
Oh yeah, actually kind of.
I think if you can't smoke cigarettes until you're 18, there's no reason for any fucking 15, 16, 13, 12, 11-year-old to be on social media. It should all of them. Yeah. Not TikTok. 100% of them.
Especially porn, dude. Porn fucking kills people.
Definitely.
Crazy.
I've now gotten to the point like we don't let people get tattoos. We don't let people, drive.
They don't let people use porn. You have to say yes.
No. Now in some states you have to age verify. Like in Texas and Florida, you have to age verify.
But like it's not like real. It's not like I don't even know if people actually.
But like, but if we would save the youth by banning them from social media, it would be the best thing for their mental health. They can. I'll give them text and call. You want to send a titty pic to someone so bad you've texted to them. That's fine. If you really want to have to call a girl, no, you should only be. You can't even text. You only can call. You can do phone sex with a girl. You can tell her to meet you at the park to fuck her. That's it.
And we have to have AI to detect if you're trying to fuck. Like if it allows the text to go through.
Right.
If you're trying to fuck, we gotta get that birth rate up.
Right.
The only outbound messages that are allowed over the wire are people meeting to have sex.
That's very funny.
We gotta dude, Japan needs that. They need sex wire.
Yeah, sex wire.
It's
your technology doesn't work.
or how about this? It's like Do you guys ever, what was that fucking movie with Justin Timberlake where he had like
It's
hours?
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, hours.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like days since you got laid. And so like if you run out, it locks you out of playing any video games.
Right.
right.
The
Like,
only
all
thing you
social
can do is
media-
go to the grocery store and the gym.
And it does and if you
Nutrition,
yeah.
Right.
dude. And then once you fuck, then we actually need to like send people, like match people that are like genetically good to just like boom, you make baby. But it has to be consenting parties.
Yes, consenting parties.
Consenting parties.
We're not creeps here.
Listen.
I know we said all that stuff about race wars.
I said it.
We're good
I
guys.
said the race.
We're
war
good
stuff.
guys.
I said the race war stuff. I will take that. And I also said the sex wire.
You know what's
I
funny?
will take that.
Aren't you like P. Diddy's nephew?
I'm also P. Diddy's nephew.
Are you actually?
if I was,
Imagine if we got a call right now and it's Diddy.
Yeah.
oh, dude, and I'm like with Diddy on the thing.
Yeah.
I need your advice, J-Rod. Can you hack something for me?
Yeah.
Dude,
I need you to get back to give me those files back that you helped me with. The
Like,
first
I
time.
don't do that. He goes, you're gonna do it.
dude. Honestly, I'd be like, hey, Diddy, slow down the rape.
Yeah.
I would contact him. I'd be like,
Yeah.
less rape this quarter.
We need to bring that down.
People will agree to fuck you. You don't have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are we doing this?
I hate.
blackmail
Yeah.
for sure.
I
I think
hate-
he's blackmailing people.
Yeah.
I hate to cut us off. We
Yeah.
do kind of have to end the stream soon, though, because I gotta prepare for
Oh,
this event.
shit.
We got
Yeah,
2 hours.
yeah,
We got
yeah.
2 hours, plenty of time, but we got to mobilize.
True. Well, that's good. We just hit an hour right now.
Yeah, this is good. You guys
All
get an
right.
hour. You want more? Pay for it. Honestly, I can't believe we do more than an hour for these people.
Dude, more than an hour. If more than an hour, you guys got a super chat. You want more than an hour, you got a super chat.
I like that idea.
Come on.
Pay us some money.
Let's see. That DJ Anna Maria saying stuff. Habib's still here.
All right,
guys.
we gotta go. We gotta go run a
See
Brony
you
Capital
guys.
event.
Got to do an event. Live life. Go outside. Do you guys go outside? Get
Go the
some
fuck
sunlight.
outside. It's pretty nice out. You should
Very
go.
nice.
Very nice. Go outside.
All right.